Well, I guess it must be November. Welcome to Shelf Love. And could somebody please move that house out of the way? Hey, I'm Rob from JestaThaRogue.com and welcome to Shelf Love, the video series where I try and play all the games on my shelf in the goal of trying to play all 100% of them. Currently, I have 65 games and I've played 15%, so a long way to go. Now, last month, a lot of new stuff went on the shelf because of Essen and I've managed to play some of those, so let's look at the games I've played this month. Now, my shelves are full. There's currently no space on them at all, so I need to get rid of some of the bigger boxes. So the first game I'm going to play this month is Destinies, to try and play through the content and get rid of this big thing. And Destinies is an app-driven adventure game where you're going to be exploring a map, you're going to be meeting different people and doing various challenges, and you're going to use dice to make skill checks. And you're going to buy and sell equipment, and you use that equipment to do stuff, and you're going to travel all around the board to try and complete one of your 2 destinies, and the player that does that first is the winner. If you watch my top 50 of all time back at the beginning of last month, this was rated very, very highly, and what I've been doing is I played once, I put it back on the shelf for a couple of months, and I play it again, then I put it back on the shelf, and I've been doing that since it came out a few years ago, and now I've played it solo a few times in a row, I've played it several times in the same day. There's some things that have started to grate on me a little. Firstly, solo mode has 2 options. There's the infinite time sort of one where you've got as much time as you want. You can take as many turns as you want to try and complete everything, which is great. You get to see all the content, but there isn't that time pressure. There isn't like a game. There isn't something making you tick along and kind of forcing you to get stuff done. And then the other side of that is the other version where you are put on a time limit and you might run out of time before you get to your ending. And sometimes it might say, go to this place in the west. So you go to the west of the board and you try to go to that place. But it could be one of 5 different cards on the west. So you could spend 3 turns just trying to find the right card to explore, to find the place you're trying to get to. And that could be 1 turn too many, and then you don't get to see your ending because the time ran out of the game, so you don't get to see all the content. Also, another thing, playing solo, all the map elements, all the miniatures, because all the miniatures look great. There are a lot of minis and some of them are very small and they're all very nice and neatly packed in this box, which is great. But the board is only there for other players. When you're playing solo, you can do everything on the app. I could just tap where I want to explore to. I don't need to move my mini on the map because it shows you on the app where you are. And if I want to look at something or talk to somebody, I can click them on the app. I don't need to use the mini or the map. I just need the dice and my player board and the cards. That's pretty much it. But it is a very good game. I'm going to play it a bit more through November. I'm going to play it through December as well and try and play as much of the content as possible. Then it's going on eBay. But I do really enjoy it. It's just, I'd rather play it with more players, but I don't have anyone who wants to play it. Next up is Altay Dawn of Civilization, which is very simply a deck builder where you're using your deck of cards to gain resources and use those resources to build wonders and technologies and to buy new cards, which give you more abilities to get more resources, which you can use to attack, and you can build settlements in all these different areas, and you get points for building stuff, you get points for buying cards, you get points for attacking and collecting other people's settlements, you get points for building settlements in different regions around the board. And it's just a very fun sort of light deck building civ builder that with a bit of combat and take that, and it's a lot of fun. And it is kind of like Monumental. Monumental is it's heavier, there's more to it, and it's obviously more expensive, more fiddly. This is much lighter. It's supposed to take about 45 minutes. It says 45 minutes on the box. It's longer than that. And it's just a very good, fun game. If it sounds like it's kind of going to be your sort of thing, based on what I've told you or what you've read about it, then I think you'll like it. So give that one a go. That is Altay, Dawn of Civilization. Next up is Kyoto no Neko, which is very simply you play a kitten and you're exploring Kyoto and you're going around all the different places. You're trying to make friends with butterflies, you're trying to hunt bugs, you're trying to attack the other cats, you're trying to cross the road successfully, and you're trying to climb cherry blossom trees, and doing all those things and some other things as well gets you some medals. Whoever gets a certain number of medals first wins the game. It's very light, very cute. If you like cats, if you like Japan and stuff like that, it's just so cute. It looks really nice on the table. It's not heavy, obviously it's quite a light game, but there is a lot to take that because you do have to attack each other and stuff, so there's some combat in there, and there's also some dice rolls when you're doing skill checks and things based on your stats to climb trees and hunt butterflies and befriend butterflies and hunt bugs and stuff. So there's a lot to do. There's also some scenarios that you can do to mix up the game. They're replayable. They just change the different goals in the game so you could get a bit of a fresh experience every time. It's a lot of fun. It's very light, so give that a go if that sounds like a game for you. That's Kyoto no Neko. Next up is Ito, which is a simple party game. It's a cross between Wavelength and The Mind, if that means anything to you. So basically you have a card numbered 1 to 99 and you have a question. It might say, name the largest animal. If you've got number 1, you could say an ant. And then you put your card face down so nobody can see it. You're just going to give a clue. You're just going to say, I've got an ant. You're telling people, I've got a very low value card here. If you've got the 99, you might say, I've got a blue whale. They say, oh, blue whale, and then you might put it down in the row. What you're trying to do is you're trying to play them all face down without telling each other what number you've got. You're just giving clues based on the question that you've been asked, and then you're going to try and get those cards in order. So you're going to turn them over to reveal them, and hopefully you reveal them in ascending order. It's fine. It's good. It's good as an icebreaker. It's good because a round only takes 10 seconds to explain, and then it could take about a minute or two to play, so it's the perfect filler, especially if you're just waiting for somebody to finish a game or you're waiting for people to join your group. That'll be a really good idea. But it's a good party game. I wouldn't say it's the best, but it is fun for a certain amount of time. But yeah, Ito, give that a try if you think you want to. Words are hard. And finally, for the batch of games I've played so far this month is FIXER, and this is a game where you're playing a trick-taking game against the player on your left, the player on your right, and the player opposite you. So you're playing into between 3 and 4 tricks at the same time, depending on how many players you play with. And you have to follow suit into those tricks if possible, in which case whoever's played the highest value card wins and takes the card and takes a token from the board. But if you can't follow suit, you could play another suit, and the suits work as rock, paper, scissors. It doesn't matter about the value of the card, a certain colour will beat another colour around a little chart that you've got in front of you, in which case you score a critical victory and you get to flip that token. You get to take the card, the losing card in that trick, as a reward. The number on it is worth that many points, but you get to flip the token over from 0 to 4, so you get a bonus 4 points for getting that critical victory. When all the tokens have gone, whoever's got the most points wins. It's okay, and I've played it a few times. I've only managed to play it 3 players. I really want to try it with 2 players or 4 players, because I think 3 player might be a bit unbalanced. I'm going to play it with 4. If I don't like it with 4, then I'm going to have to sell it, because it's not as tactical as I hoped it would be, and I'm not really getting much feedback from people I'm playing it with that it's good. So yeah, I'm going to try and play it 4 player. I've got another game day coming up in November. It'll be the last one in November, so I'm going to play it there hopefully, and then I'll update this video to let you know how it went. But at the moment, it's iffy. Okay, so I got a chance to play FIXER 4 players, and it is slightly better because you are having that battle with the player on your left, the player on your right, and the player opposite you across the table. So there's more options. There's 3 options for you to play into instead of 2, and so it just gives you more to do. But it still has a problem where you have to follow suit, and you're playing 9 cards all game. You're following suit for maybe 6 or 7 of them, so it only really gets exciting with your last couple of cards when the game is nearly over. So it still has that problem, but it is surviving on the shelf for now. And just so you know, for Altay, for Kyoto no Neko, for FIXER, there are how to play videos up for those already, and one for Ito coming up in a couple of weeks. So for games in this week, I saw this on eBay. There was a Pokemon version of Splendor in Korea, and I really wanted, but at the moment it's about £60 to get it. I don't really want to spend £60 on Splendor, so I'm not going to get it for now. But what it did remind me of is all the other Pokemon games in Korea that I want to get. So I picked some of those up. I've got Point Salad Eevee, which I've already played before. It's just the version of Point Salad, themed with all the different evolutions, and that's a lot of fun. This is Paper Safari Pokemon. This is 99 Pokemon. So this is Chips Pokemon. So there's 4 different games. I haven't learned how to play them yet, but they're all quite simple. They're just themed with Pokemon. I've picked them all up off eBay, quite cheap, from Korea, and I can't wait to play these. And this month I have 2 games going out so far. Destinies, as I mentioned earlier. I'm going to continue to play it through December, but I'm taking it off the shelf to make room because I've got 3 or 4 Kickstarters have been delayed a couple of years each, so they're all due to come this month, so I need to make room for those. So I'm taking Destinies off the shelf. I'm just going to keep it on this table here, and I'm going to be playing it through November and December, as I said. And the other one is, you might remember if you watched the video, not last month, I think the month before, when I looked at Slay the Spire. I said I was going to keep it on the shelf for now, but basically I just prefer to play the video game. I've seen that it's selling for like £300 on eBay. For a game that I'm not too bothered about playing or keeping, I would rather have that money. If I can get that money for it, I will definitely take it. So that is not on the shelf. It was up here. It's not there anymore because it is going on eBay soon. So it's in a box ready to be listed and packaged and sent away. So 2 games leaving the shelf so far. Okay, my game club review this week is a club called Derby on Board, which is based in Derby in Derbyshire, which is where the board game Obsession is set. So there's a board game link there to Derbyshire for anyone who didn't know that. So I'm scoring these board game groups in 3 categories: the financial, the game room, and the people that go there. So let's look at that now. So Derby is a great city to have a board game group in. It is a student city. There's a lot of universities there, so there's a lot of younger people there. It's also got a good catchment area for nearby cities such as Nottingham, which is just a short trip on the bus or the train away. And as the location we're in is outside the city centre, but close enough to the city centre that transport's good, but it's outside the city centre, so parking is really good and free on the weekend, that makes it good financially as well. There's also a little car park, although there is a Weight Watchers group that comes in and fills the car park up because it starts about an hour before the board game group starts, so that car park's always full by the time we get there. But like I said, the on-street parking is free and there's plenty of that. There's a very long street. As it's in a community centre, you can order your own food in as well, which is great. I order from the German Doner Kebab Company, which is just my favourite. I just love it. But there is a little kitchen in there. You've got free tea and coffee, and there's always a selection of cakes and biscuits as well, which is always good. I always help myself to a few of those. And it costs £5 all day from like 10 till I think 7 p.m, which is good. So, it's close to home. It's quite cheap. Free tea, coffee and biscuits, and you can bring your own food if you like. So it's a very cheap day out. So I'll give the financials, of course, 3 out of 3. Now the room itself is really big and really nice. There's get plenty of tables in there. The chairs are brilliant. They've got nice soft cushiony chairs. They're very comfortable. One thing they do have is they have those tables with the metal rims, so they lift the board game. If you need 2 tables pushed together and you've got a board straddling across 2 of them, it's a problem. So I'm going to mark it down for that. So the room gets 2 out of 3. Also the temperature, I think they fixed the heating, so in winter, because we went in November obviously, when it was cold outside but it was warm inside, which is good. So I think they fixed the heating, so it was going to be 1 out of 3, but it's now 2 out of 3, so that's good. And the people, now let me start by saying everyone is lovely, everybody's really nice. I am coming in from the outside. I'm coming from Mansfield to Derby, and all the people in Derby sort of know each other and they play during the week as well, and they've all got their own little groups. But I found that I quite often don't mix with a lot of people. There's a lot of people come and they'll sit on their table and they'll play their games together all day, and another table here they'll play games together all day, and that's fine. There's not a lot of mixing and matching as there are in other groups as well, so I'm going to mark it down for that. It's not that it's bad, it's just that if I go on my own or I don't know anyone, it kind of restricts the options of what I have and who I play with, and because some people don't invite you into their games if they don't know you, which is fair enough. They don't know who I am. I might be an idiot for all they're concerned. So I'm going to mark it down for that. I'm going to give the people 2 out of 3. But just remember what I said at the beginning. Everyone is lovely. And do I award a bonus point? Yes, of course I do. Free biscuits. That has to be worth a bonus point. Also as well, but I mentioned the German Doner Kebab Company. That is my favourite takeout. That is my favourite place to order food. We don't have it in Mansfield, so I can't get it here. The only 2 places I go where I can get it are Derby, the board game group, and Burton, the board game group. The Burton board game group, which I mentioned in October, had moved venues from a community centre where you used to be able to order food to a pub where you can no longer order food because you have to eat the pub's food instead. So now Derby is the only place I can go where I can order from my favourite place to order from. So I'm going to give it a bonus point for that as well, and thinking of going to the Derby group makes me drool. So Derby on board, very good group. If you get a chance to go there, I would suggest it. I give it 8 out of 10. My comment of the month is from Alex Perez, which was on the video of how to play Let's Go to Japan. He says, love your style of filming, how you show close-up of the game pieces. It helps a lot. Continue making quality videos. Well, thank you, Alex. I will. And I do like having the close-up, but there's a secret which people may already know. The reason everything's close up is because I don't have the room to have a camera up high so I can get a whole view of the table. And my table is this wide. It's basically as wide as you can see here. So even I could turn it that way, I suppose. I could turn it so it's lengthways, but then it would be too shallow. So you'd see off the back of the table. There is no way currently with this table and the room size I have to be able to have a camera up high enough to get an overall view. So I'm glad you like the close-ups, because that's all I can do basically. So thanks for that, and I will continue making high quality videos. Thank you. And that is it for another episode of Shelf Love. And just so you know where I am, I've had 4 coming in, I've got 2 going out, I've played 15 of 67, which is 22.4%. Nearly quarter of the way there. And make sure you subscribe, because in the coming weeks I'm going to have my top 10 games I'm looking forward to in 2025. I'm going to have the top 10 games of the year, my first video in January that I do every year, where I look at the games I played in 2024 that released in 2024. And then as part of Shelf Love in December, because I'm not going to review a game day because I don't have one in December, I'm going to do the top 10 games I've played in 2024 that were new to me, regardless of the year they were released. And there's some good games in there, including one I played today at KimCon, which I really enjoyed. That's quite high up in the list. So be sure to subscribe for that. And also remember to like, share and comment. Comment below what you think of these games that I've reviewed today, and if you think Slay the Spire and Destinies should leave the shelf, purely based on size more than anything. But yeah, let me know. Thanks for watching. I've been Rob, aka JestaThaRogue. I'll see you soon.